Illumination. A company that I surprisingly refrained from making a focused video on. For as much crap as I get for being negative all the time, you know, hey, at least I haven't touched quite possibly the most easy target ever for bottom of the barrel current popular movies. That is until today. Despite not talking about them, I've actually seen quite a few of their movies. I have almost nothing positive to say about a majority of them, but I have indeed endured them. The first Despicable Me was okay, had a sweet relationship with Gru and the girls, and the Minions hadn't yet overrun the franchise. I saw Hop in theaters and had no idea it was even an Illumination movie, being this live-action rabbit movie starring Russell Brand. Who? The Lorax sucked. Had Zac Efron playing our incel main character who just wants to frick this girl in his neighborhood, and that's his whole motivation for wanting to save the trees. Also has this character who everyone on Tumblr was in love with for some reason. It's sad when the best part about the Lorax isn't even in the actual movie. They had this song called Biggering, which is really goddamn good, and they ended up replacing it with How Bad Can I Be, which is just like noise. No joke, once in my business studies class, our teacher was like, "Okay everyone, today we're gonna watch the Lorax because it has a lot of great messages about corporations and greed." Yeah, the movie made by one of the most greedy, soulless, money-hungry companies is gonna preach to us. After that, you have Despicable Me 2 and 3, and Minions, which are some of the most nothing movies I've seen in my life. Like, things just happen for the purpose of having silly Minion nonsense. And I haven't seen Secret Life of Pets or The Grinch, but I assure you, they're probably terrible too. There was only one Illumination film series that I hadn't seen yet that was actually intriguing to me, and that was the Sing franchise. Why did it stick out to me? Well, it's because when talking about the topic of Illumination movies, I oftentimes see it be brought up like, yeah, Illumination makes bad movies, but you know, Sing was good. I legit have been getting emailed for a year now by the same person heckling me that they're actually very good movies, so clearly there must be some kind of appeal to them. So I decided, hey, why not? Sing 2 comes out soon, so I might as well just watch the first one before Sing the second, and after watching it, I gotta say, they're fucking shit. They've gotta be some of the most jaw-droppingly lazy movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm sorry, John Lewis, but let's go into why. But first, I want to sing the praises of the stylish urban mythological RPG, Dislight. Get it? Because I'm talking about Sing, sorry, I'll continue. Dislight has this unique pop fantasy style that's got high quality 3D animation. I love all the strikingly diverse characters based on mythology present, topped off of this comic book-like art style. It's great. Using the classic turn-based gameplay style, Dislight can automate battles and obtain loot, so that you can play it even without hands. Which is great because you can minimize the game and do other stuff on your phone while grinding away for stuff. With an in-depth tactical battle system using a 5-hero team, you can make use of all their different attacks and speed to outplay enemies. Why wouldn't you want to check it out? So be sure to go and download Dislight on the App Store and Google Play Store, using the link in the description, and also using code JOINDISLIGHT. And get ready to battle them with badass gods ever. And thanks Dislight for sponsoring this video. As you could probably tell from my descriptions of their movies, Illumination doesn't have the best reputation. Online, that is. General audiences eat this shit up consistently, and that's what's so honestly genius about the company's business strategy. And that's that they have this mindset and have basically perfected the process of making their movies as cost effective as possible, while still appealing to the widest possible market of audiences, which sure, undoubtedly results in them making massive profits, but it also means that your films don't have much lasting power. Like, even people who enjoy these movies, is there really anything you could say about them other than, "Aw, it was really cute," or "Ha, I lolled when the Minion showed his ass," or "Ha, I lolled when the Grinch showed his ass." Yeah, see, that's it. There's no substance to these movies. Because when you're trying to appeal to everyone, you have to keep shit as broad as possible, as to not alienate any group. And none of their films are primer examples to that than Sing 1 and 2. So without further ado, let's get into it.
All this money on me make me wanna poop.
Released in 2016, Sing was a big hit for the company. Not only did it make a fuck ton of money, but it surprisingly got a pretty good reception too. I mean relatively good, let's remember who we're talking about here. Anyways, after sitting through it for the first time recently, did I manage to figure out why so many people seem to enjoy Sing? Well, as a matter of fact, yes, I did. But first, let's go over the movie and what I think of it. Sing stars Buster Moon, this little koala who owns a shitty theater that was given to him by his dad, but when it's on the verge of being taken by the bank, he has the bright idea to put on a singing competition, because apparently everyone will come and see a singing competition. However, due to a hilarious mix-up, his assistant accidentally makes a typo listing the reward as $100,000 instead of $1,000, so a fuck ton of people decide to sign up thinking they're gonna be rich. Yeah, you can see where this is going. This all leads to the classic moment you can expect out of any animated movie that's struggling for conflict, where everyone realizes that our main character was lying to them and now they gotta redeem themselves. You know what's an alright movie? Over the Hedge does this way better. But yeah, so the movie is just them taking this incredibly bare-bones story and trying to desperately stretch it out for an hour and 40 minutes. There's almost no room to do anything with what's already a pretty nothing premise, because the story wasn't chosen due to any kind of artistic vision, and was completely done for the sake of being able to shoehorn in as many hip-hop and pop songs, so they can shove them all over the trailer so people will want to go see it because of something they recognize. I see people praise this movie because, well, the soundtrack is amazing! All the songs they use are so good, and it's like, so fucking what? Illumination didn't make these songs. All they did was throw money at different companies to license them out. That doesn't make the movie any better or mean they had to try on any part. How many songs from the film's original OST can you genuinely remember? No, yeah, hum it for me right now. Yeah, that's right, you fucking can. If you want to praise this film's soundtrack, then give that appreciation towards the artist. There's no skill or understanding of story or characters involved in giving a movie a good soundtrack.
I beg your pardon?
Not that that should have even been their defining goal of it in the first place. Like, did you know that 15% of Sing's budget was solely spent on getting the rights to these songs? 15%! Even when talking about the story of the film, the director said it would be about courage, competition, and carrying a tune. Oh, okay, so nothing. But no, just to entertain it. Let's judge this film for everything outside of the licensed music. Let's judge it for, the things you're supposed to judge in a movie. Like the characters. Sing has a whopping 7 main characters at its disposal, who all get fairly equal amounts of screen time. Now you may be asking yourself, how does this movie manage to balance all of these guys, while still making sure that they're all developed enough to the point of being likable or interesting? The answer is they don't. The only character here with some modicum of relatability, or at the very least a tiny bit of depth, is Buster Moon, and that's because they dedicate the most time into actually going into his character, and why he cares so much about keeping his theater in business. And by most time, I mean like one scene, but seriously, that's the most you're gonna see here. Each other character has the most basic and quick arc I've ever seen in a movie ever, just so it has the illusion of telling a story where characters grow and evolve. But instead of coming across like a genuine attempt at making you like these guys, all it comes off like is the studio executives checking a box for another target demographic. First we have Rosita, this pig lady who had to give up on her dreams to become a mother of 24, with an unappreciative husband as he's overworked. Her arc is that she becomes more independent, I think. She does something for herself. Cool. There's this porcupine called Ash whose talent isn't being recognized by her egotistical boyfriend and learns to become more independent and does what she wants to do. Oh, there's this other fat pig called Gunter who Then we've got the elephant Mina, who's shy, but is a really good singer, and needs to push herself into coming out of her shell. I mean, it's different. We have the British gorilla What's-His-Name. He has a big mean old dad who wants him to follow in his footsteps of being a criminal, but he just wants to sing to his father's dismay. They literally show the start, middle, and conclusion of this whole character arc in the fucking trailer.
Dad, I don't want to be in your gang. I want to be a singer.
How did I end up with a son like you? That's my son!
And finally we have the
Mouse.
Chicken.
He has the only interesting story out of this lot, being this egotistical scammer who needs the prize money so he can pay some guys back and fuck his girlfriend. See, when you look at any one of these characters and what they're going through and what they want in life, you can actually visualize the kind of way that can be done well. How we can see them try to achieve their dreams, maybe fail at first, but learn to never give up and overcome whatever obstacle comes in their way. Doesn't sound too bad on paper, does it? But see, now imagine this exact same plot happening 7 times at once, with each character facing these story beats in the exact same order. The mouse that I like? Yeah, he gets maybe 5, possibly 6 minutes of dedicated screen time. The movie is struggling to balance all these vastly different character personalities, because they know that if they focus too much on one demographic, then another may feel left out, and we can't have that. They might not buy the plush then. It's so shameless and baffling at how little there is going on here. It's just one big build up for that moment where they all realize they're being lied to, and then for no reason pointlessly come back together in the end to help Buster put on his show, even if he was a prick who continually lied to them throughout the entire film. Again, this movie was only made for that montage of all the silly animals singing songs. That was its only purpose. And it achieved it with flying colors, clearly. They made $500 million fucking dollars. And of course it wouldn't be a current animated movie without each and every character being voiced by some big name celebrity so they can shove them all over the posters. Now Illumination are no strangers to this. Even back with the first Despicable Me starring Steve Carell, or one of their less popular films like Secret Life of Pets starring Louis C.K. But with Sing, it's just egregious. It's so obvious how lazy of a marketing tactic this was. Seriously, just look at the posters and you'll see how much care was actually put into these characters in comparison to the celebrities who play them. I get it, there's typecasting a famous person to drive interest in your animated movie, and then there's almost entirely marketing your movie on its cast rather than its characters. We have such stars as John C. Reilly, Scarlett Johansson, Reese Witherspoon, Nick Kroll, creator of fucking Big Mouth, and of course I'd be dumb not to mention my favorite character, the man. Voiced by the man, the myth, the legend, Seth MacFarlane. You bet your ass they gave him a Frank Sinatra song to sing, and by God is it the highlight of the entire thing. Lastly, I want to comment on the animation, because this is without a doubt one of the biggest pros I see given to Illumination movies. They have this really clever strategy where they make all of their movies bright and saturated, and because of that, people just automatically see it as having good animation. Not to mention there's a huge distinction to be made when it comes to animation and art style. There are two different things entirely. For example, their Grinch movie. From what I've seen of it, the animation is whatever. Their standard fare, it's decent, you know? But in regards to its art style, it's awful. This is the Grinch? How did we go from this guy, to this plush toy looking ass? Hey Illumination, the Grinch is supposed to be a bad guy, you know? How does the song go?
You have termites in your smile.
And then show the Illumination Grinch. But don't worry, I get it. The kids might be scared off if he looked even the slightest bit threatening. But same goes for Sing. None of these designs are inherently bad, except the gorilla. I've never seen a worse design in my fucking life. Why does he have little baby legs that look so off with those realistic jeans? But the rest are just like, whatever. They don't stand out or make any kind of impression. It's just, we need a pig. Here's a generic looking pig and, give him a pink shirt, I guess. You see, that means they're a girl. I mean, just look at all these background characters. They look like... they look like Bored Ape NFTs. Thank you. What the fuck do you mean the market's crashed? And the world they just live in is... it's just the real world. I'm not expecting Zootopia levels of world building, but at the very least I'm sick of watching all these cartoons and animated movies where everything just takes place in a bright and colorful version of LA. I stayed on Sunset Boulevard for a month back in February. It fucking sucked. There were homeless everywhere, garbage filling the streets. Roscoe's had good chicken though, I'll give it that. But yeah, I don't like this movie's art style. Along with a lot of Illumination movies' art styles because everything is just way too clean and shiny and perfect. It's all just there to disguise the whatever animation through superficially pretty visuals. Like I said, the company has perfected the strategy of cost-effective filmmaking. This basic-ass lighting and simplistic character and world design wasn't done out of any passion. It was done because they knew that it would save them the most cash at the end of the day. Not that this even excuses it. Sing had a budget of $75 million, considerably low compared to other animated movies from the time such as Zootopia or Kung Fu Panda 3, which budgets were around double that of Sing's. But when remembering just how much money Illumination makes from these films, not to mention other animated movies looking infinitely better than Sing despite having a similar budget, such as Into the Spider-Verse, which had an incredibly low budget of only $90 million, it's easy to see why I tend to be less sympathetic towards the studio. Sing is not a good movie. It has a bare-bones story, two-dimensional characters with nothing going on, and is so obviously just a ploy to easily make money. So then why do so many people love it? Well, I believe it's because it rides this line of being just bland enough. It tries so little that it inherently doesn't do anything wrong, or manage to really feel at anything. It succeeds at what it wants to do. It just so happens that what it wants to do is play popular pop songs for an hour and a half. But if you look past all that, then what's left? No, really, what? Because all I see is a company's desperate attempt at appealing to everyone. When you have a movie this barren, this devoid of substance, you have to start grasping at straws for praise, such as, Sing the movie shows kids how to be body positive. This showing how to be body positive isn't actually in the film itself, it's literally just the fact that the movie has some fat characters in it and nobody makes fun of them for being fat. Congratulations, Illumination, here's your medal. Contrast the animals above with Judy Hopps from Zootopia, who's drawn in a more conventionally attractive to humans way. More conventionally attractive to humans? Sorry, lady, I think that says more about you than anything else. So no, I'm not gonna give Sing any kind of pass because it's cute, or not the worst thing in the world, because I can't look at it without seeing anything other than the sheer greed of its creators. I don't hate this movie because of it doing anything exceptionally poorly. I simply just hate the idea that a film of this caliber was released into the world, and just because it wasn't a complete disaster, most people sat back and bought into its slimy marketing tactics. I do like to view movies as art, and when I look at Sing, I don't see art. I just see a rich executive walking all the way to the bank because he just played the world for $600 million. It's no surprise why this movie performed so well. It was completely set up to succeed. It cast its net way too wide to possibly feel. So of course that naturally meant a sequel was in order. But the question lies, when you have a first movie that has such little going on, that is so desperate to fill out its runtime, how do you possibly make a follow-up? Well, unfortunately, I guess we have to find out.
She gon' do the dishes, she gon' mind her business, this is a pigeon.
Now this one just confused me. When Sing 2 released just a couple months ago, I recall seeing everyone on Twitter praise it, saying that not only is it better than the first, but that it's also just a solid movie in general. And after going back to see it in February, I have to say, I barely even registered that I had watched a movie. Can this even be classified as a film? I seriously don't think I've ever seen a movie that is so blatantly and proudly just copied one for one the story of the first. I literally missed the first 10 minutes of this when I saw it in cinemas, and after rewatching it for this video I realized that I genuinely missed nothing important. But I think that statement would have applied even if I had missed the whole thing. I entered at this part where they're all standing outside the bus station about to go on their big adventure to the city, and felt like I had missed some scenes where the characters are talking about their worries about going through with this, or some backing out, because we have the pig make a grand entrance like,
I have dreamt of performing in Red Shore City since I was a little kid.
But like, this is the first time the film had focused on her so far, so like, why? Why does everything have to be a grand statement in this movie for the illusion of drama? Like, it just starts, there's no sense of pacing at all, and that's simply because, like the first, this is all just a big excuse to get all the characters in a room to sing pop songs. Sing 2 picks up right where the first left off. Buster Moon's theater is now a big success with shows being sold out every night. He has everything he could have possibly wanted from the first movie, but now he's still dissatisfied because this dog lady comes to watch their play and doesn't think they're good enough for the big leagues, and to perform in the city of Red Shore. However, when they get there and bomb at their audition, Buster once again lies and claims that Clay Calloway will be in their musical, intriguing the auditioner and granting them access to create a big musical for him. Who's Clay Calloway? Yeah, I think the film failed to mention him to us because this is the first time we fucking hear of him. So apparently he's this giant famous musician who hasn't been seen in years after going into hiding, and so the gang now have to put on the musical of a lifetime, while at the same time, finding Clay and convincing him to join. Like I said, it's just the same as the first, with Buster promising something big and lying to the people about it. You'd think he would have learnt after the first time, but with characters as bland as these, I can imagine it's hard to think of new things to do. Once again, it all just comes off as a big excuse to play pop songs. I don't think a scene goes by in this whole film that doesn't find some way to shoehorn in some current popular song that'll make general audiences enjoy the movie through association. Writing shit like this must be so easy. All you gotta do is put something people like in your movie and they'll suddenly like it too. Without a doubt, I think if these movies instead had original songs instead of covers, it would have been nowhere near as popular. They even have that exact same scene as in the original, where it's an audition and we have to sit through a 2-minute montage of funny little animals singing songs, despite them being so out of ideas that they do the exact same jokes copied from the first. Like the Sneal, you already did that exact gag in the first movie, how lazy can you be? In the first one I at the very least somewhat understand why, in universe at least, they'd be singing covers of real songs. It's a talent show like X Factor or some shit, so whatever, it makes sense. But here they're making an original musical about space or something, yet are still just doing covers of regular songs. I get there's jukebox musicals, but still, wouldn't it have made more sense in universe for them to be original songs because they really don't fit at all? Even if we ignore the story, much like the first, and solely are focusing on the characters, then it somehow manages to treat them even worse than the original. A large reason for this is due to them throwing in like 5 more characters we have to spend time getting to know, despite none of them really doing anything important. There is seriously such little time in this already pretty long movie to develop any of these guys, or give them any kind of interesting story, that literally all of them are given 3 scenes to go through their arc. They introduce it, have another scene where they're at their low point, then they overcome it. That's it. That's fucking it. The British gorilla is back again, and this time he has to learn how to dance with this strict instructor guy. Then he meets this cat girl who trains him in an afternoon and he becomes perfect. Then he beats up the instructor. Alright. The pig gets demoted from the star of the musical because she's afraid of heights. Then she overcomes her fear of heights. Okay. The fat pig is... Big Mouth. They introduced this new girl who's the daughter of the big bad evil businessman. She's like every single spoiled girl archetype ever and contributes nothing. They let her in the show, then they kick her off the show, and then she just comes back to be in the show. It's great. Other than Buster Moon, who is just going through the exact same lying tirade as last time, except without the somewhat understandable father backstory to justify his lie, here he's just doing it because he wants to be a success. But we also have Ash the Porcupine, who's actually one of the more tolerable characters because they don't— oh wait, the elephant! I forgot she existed! The elephant likes this boy elephant who makes ice cream across from where they're performing. They share literally 2 lines of dialogue, then she sees him in the audience during the final performance and asks him out. Great. Wonderful. Here is an actual line from 2021's Sing 2. I am not making this shit up. You look like a goddess, and lucky for you, it's free ice cream for all goddesses day. Kill me. Eric Andre is also here, but he does nothing. Moving on. Anyway, sorry, like I was saying, Ash is probably the most tolerable character here because they don't give her one of those lame arcs. All she's here to do is convince Killa Calloway to come with them and perform again. It's just a shame that they felt the need to do this scene fucking twice. Basically, Clay is like, wait, I don't want to leave, I'm like a loner, I'm cool and shit. And Ash just naturally sings a song, which for no fucking reason makes Clay realize that he needs to leave and come out with them. You know what, though? This actually isn't a bad scene. The song they sing fits very well, even if it is just a U2 cover. But it isn't that bad of a tune, so you know what? Fine. However, this moment is completely undercut by them getting to the stage finally, and when Clay is supposed to come on stage, he's all like, wait, I don't want any more, I'm scared and stuff. So Ash comes out and starts singing again, and this song motivates him to finally come out and perform. Like, you just did the same thing twice. Did we really need both? I don't know, man. It's just so goddamn lazy. Did they really not notice that? They desperately want you to feel some semblance of sadness for this character, but it's so obviously only done for the sake of wanting the audience to be superficially put in a good mood through the illusion of character. But it's not like Illumination even cared that much about any of this, because the fucking trailer shows every beat of this story, even the goddamn climax. I don't think I've seen a trailer for a movie that has been so uncaring about hiding anything from the actual film itself. It's as if they were like, oh, what the fuck do you care? Let's sing again, that's all you need to know. Like when the cat says, how do I know you're not a weirdo? And British Gorilla just starts singing in the diner at the top of his fucking lungs. I'm pretty sure that does confirm he's a weirdo lady. But I don't care about any of that. The most important question I have here is, where the fuck is Mike the Mouse, voiced by Seth MacFunnyman-Farland? I want to know. Oh, here's the answer. Finally, the film director confirms that Mike gets he's dead? I get an RIP in the comments from Mike the Mouse, guys. He was a real one. Go hit that subscribe button too. It's what he would have wanted. Now, animation-wise, I gotta admit, it is a very pretty-looking movie. Even though when you look at it again, you can see the cracks starting to show in their very low budget. I still don't like many of the character designs. They're either really ugly or extreme furry, be it like the wolf or dog. Like, come on, you know what you're doing with this. That's not my biggest issue with it. It's more so that the movie can look really nice at times. Despite, like, the first one not being a result of Illumination's money-saving tactics, of making everything look simple and slick. But here it makes a little bit of sense with it taking place in this giant Vegas-like city. Reminds me of the new SpongeBob movie, actually. But we basically get one single scene establishing what this place looks like, and it's all bright and colorful, and I want to see more of it. At the very least, a montage of the characters enjoying their time and taking in the sights. But after that initial scene of them looking out the bus window, a majority of the rest of the film just takes place within a big boring warehouse. Wow, what a sight to behold. It does get a tad more interesting with the visuals during the musical at the end, but still, that's to ignore the fact that, much like the first one, this movie mostly takes place within the same 4 or 5 locations, and it's just fucking boring. I think that's part of why it barely feels like a real movie. There's never any evolution on anything going on. And when we're not in the city, much like the first movie, the locations are just way too realistic. Again, it's like the art department gave this film no style or flair, it's just real life. Replicating real life isn't impressive anymore when every major studio can do it. What people want to see now is animated movies take advantage of the fact that they're animated. Do something new and interesting, make your product stand out. Because these designs don't fit at all with the world they're placed in. Like the scene of the lizard lady driving around, she just doesn't fit. So surprise surprise, Sing 2 sucks. Arguably even more than the first, which was already a pretty terrible movie. Immediately after leaving the cinema, I'd failed to comprehend that I even sat through a movie. And that's because I didn't sit through a movie. I sat through a glorified album of music videos with occasional interludes. I seriously don't know why people, even those who didn't enjoy the first, came out of this one liking it. Genuinely, please enlighten me in the comments, because for the life of me, I can't understand it. You might think I'm being too harsh to what's just a kids movie. Kids movies are just supposed to be silly little mindless films. You can't judge them harshly. I fucking hate that excuse, because we're allowed to endlessly praise and talk about a movie like Encanto and how it's the best thing ever for months and months, despite it also supposedly being just a kids movie. Illumination have let this excuse of them just making kids films to con the world out of billions of dollars, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of giving them a pass because one of them comes out and isn't as bad as everyone thought it would be. It's not as bad as you thought because it's nothing. It's all just a big marketing trick. This may be the angriest video I have ever made, and in some regards I apologize for it, but I don't know what it was. Sitting through these two excuses for entertainment just really highlighted to me why we're getting more and more shit movies, and it's because people keep allowing it. So yeah, Sing 1 and 2 are awful. I don't care how much you want to fuck the gorilla.